Okay, so here we are, chapter 20, Unexpected Hero, second to last chapter. Here we go. Oh no! I quickly close my eye again. That wasn't. Surely not. I take a deep breath and slowly open my eye again, squinting in the brighter light now that we appear to be out of the jungle. Yep, it was. I definitely recognise that slanted yellow eye glaring back at me. I'm pretty sure that eye belongs to someone or something I hoped I wouldn't see again. You know who it is? I cautiously open the other eye to reveal another slanted yellow eye. Two slanted eyes. Two slanted yellow eyes. Directly below two long, curled horns. Horns on a head that is bowed down towards me, staring suspiciously. Nigel! That flipping goat! As reality dawns, I figure I'm in a metal, flat-bedded kind of jeep, tossed on the floor like a pile of dirty washing, and the way we are hurtling around the dusty roads at breakneck speed, I think I have a pretty good idea of who is driving. I'm not sure if I'm relieved or more worried. At that moment, I have a flashback of the terrible moment in the jungle when I realised that my Gran had disappeared and Sidonia and I were crouched on the floor at the mercy of a gun-wielding, angry Spanish bloke. I turned my head frantically, only to see two other pairs of eyes staring down at me. Two pairs of smiling eyes. One pair belonging to a beautiful woman with long dark hair, the other to a plump, curly-haired, slightly bedraggled old lady wearing a pair of gold-rimmed glasses. "Gran! Sidonia!" I cry, tears of relief pouring down my face. I scrabble up from the floor and do my best to scoot towards them as the jeep hurtles around the dusty roads. They smile and throw their arms around me. We stay huddled together in our strange little group hug as we slip and slide around in the back of the jeep. I feel a nudge at my hip and turn to see that darned goat staring at me suspiciously. "That goat," I mutter. "I swear he's got it in for me." "Silly girl. Nigel just wants some cuddles. Don't you, Nigel?" laughs Sidonie. And with that, Nigel sidles up to Sidonie, who tickles him under the chin like an overgrown puppy dog. "He's such a sweetie," she coos. I'm not entirely convinced. I am sure that conniving old goat is sniggering at me, buttering up Sidonie, whilst planning to butt me the moment her back is turned. "So what happened back there?" I ask. "I don't really remember much after running away from the cave, and after all that, all hell seemed to break loose. And by the way, where are we going now?" "Yes, it was a little frantic back there for a while," asked Granny Moo. "Well, dear, if you remember, I was digging around at the cave entrance for a while before we ran." "Yes, I remember that," I say. "What were you doing?" "Just a little trap-setting trick I learnt from a Navajo Indian friend of mine," winks Gran, tapping her nose secretively. "Obviously," I laughed. "I'm starting to become unshockable where my wayward grandmother is concerned." "What kind of trap, Gran?" "Well, the trick is to bury a coil of rope under some leaves and debris and thread out the long end of the rope with you as you walk away. Then as your victim steps in the loop, you pull as hard as you can on the other end and it should cause your attacker to fall, buying you a bit of time to escape." "Oh, so that's why his legs seem to fly up in the air and his gun shot from his hand all of a sudden," I laughed. "Yes, it was a little comical," giggles my Gran. The only trouble was I was hoping they would both step into the loop at the same time so we could unend them both together, as it were. Unfortunately, they were a tiny bit smarter than I gave them credit for, and they split apart at the mouth of the cave. So I only managed to get one of them. That's when the other one chased after us. I tried throwing the flare at him, but it didn't seem to blind him like I'd hoped, and I'm so sorry if you were frightened, my darling Molly." "It's okay, Gran," I sighed. "Certainly it's been an eventful day. But where are we now? How were we rescued? I just remember flying through the air under a kind of white sheet." My Gran giggles again. "That, my darling, was Agent Hassan." I roll my eyes. "Hassan the Horrible?" I did kind of suspect that there weren't too many jeep-driving occupants of this jungle with a large horned devil goat tethered in the back. "I had a hunch we may be in for a spot of bother when we left the Quetzali camp, so I sent word to Agent Hassan that we might need backup," my Gran continued. I'm not even going to bother asking how she managed to get word to a giant white robe-wearing, tongueless warrior in the middle of a Guatemalan jungle. "Anyway," Gran continues, "as soon as the other assailant came towards us, I snuck off into the forest to see if I could find Hassan and help him to ambush the gang member. Sure enough, he was just on his way to meet us." "But how on earth was he able to find us in the middle of the jungle?" I asked. "Oh, Agent Hassan can pretty much track anyone anywhere," says Granny Moo. "So, as soon as I met up with Hassan, we were able to sneak behind the back of the crook. Hassan performed the old 1-2 magic flick with his whip and was able to eject the gun from his hand. Before he knew what was happening, Hassan had scooped you up under his arm and we all ran like crazy to the jeep. Oh, so the white sheet was Hassan's robes covering my face and the bumping and jumping around was me being carried under his arm, I ask, as realisation dawns. I'm trying hard not to think too much about being shoved under the hairy armpit of my white-robed rescuer, but I guess I should be grateful. Exactly, says my Gran. And now we're on our way back to the market and home, just in time for tea. At that moment, the jeep lurches around a sharp bend on the bumpy road, and I'm flung into the corner under the glare of Nigel, who, rather alarmingly, seems to have come untethered. He nudges my bottom none too gently, and I scowl in his direction. Oh, Nigel, giggles Sidoni, you are a playful old thing. Playful, not the word I would use. So next time we've got the last chapter.